that
I don't
loud.
like the sounds, yeah, no, just say yes.
You're back. When'd you get back?
Oh, good. There you go.
You ready? Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn the executive session.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Kim? All those in favor? 5-0. Great. And thank you, everyone, for your patience. We had a personnel matter we needed to address in executive session, and we're now in our regular session and our select board agenda that was published. It's 6:10 p.m. And I call the meeting to order for the Monday, July 13, 2026 Select Board. First is amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? Okay. Next is public comment on non-agenda items. Do we have anybody here? Mark, would you like to come up? If you could state your name and your
Hi,
address.
my name is Mark Ratner. I am the County Commissioner for District 3, which includes Rockport. I wanted to introduce myself to the new members that just joined the board and just bring you up to date a couple of the county issues that people are curious about. The call center, 911 call center, is doing really, really well. Not only is it's been fully staffed for quite a while now. I think we have one job opening right now that's just started because somebody else went on to something else. We've also nominated, we've put in a new person as a county fire and EMS coordinator to help all the towns and all the fire departments and EMS sort of start working together in the best, as suggestions. He has no authority over everybody, but he's really knowledgeable. Bob Coombs is his name. He's really knowledgeable about, I think he works with Owl's Head Fire. He's been doing it. He worked for the call center. He's been involved with public service for many, many, many years. And he's already been very involved in helping to bring things together. One of the things the call center is doing is working to bring together with 17 or however many departments we have. You can't have 17 different ways to do call stuff because it drives people crazy. So we're already working to combine and make people use the same call schedule for the call center, so it makes it easier for everybody to understand, for all the departments listening to understand what's going on. So it's an ongoing process. So I just wanted to bring everybody up to date on that. Everything's fine with the budget now. Our budget was approved. That's going well. And the one other thing I wanted to mention, I was here for the candidate debates, and there was an issue that came up that one of the candidates mentioned that was incorrect, and I wanted to correct it. It was, one of the gentlemen mentioned that now with our deal with Two Bridges for jailing most of our people, that Rockport police officers, when they arrested somebody, would have to take them to Two Bridges, and that is false. We still have a 72-hour facility that's open, as it always has been, 24 hours a day. So when somebody in the county is arrested, they'll go to that center in Rockland like they always have. There's no change in that process. So
And then Knox County handles whatever transfer needs to happen to Two
Knox County
Bridges.
handles the transfer, so the Rockport police deputies don't have to go to, or the officers don't have to go to Two Bridges. Okay. So I just wanted to make that clear. And I'm just curious if anybody else has any other questions about the county.
Yeah, anybody?
No, other than I just want to thank you, Mark, because I know how close EMS, fire, all that stuff is to your heart.
It's true.
And I know you've got a lot of experience there, and clearly it's been well applied. So nice work.
It was a lot of work. I have to say, if those of you know me, I spent 6 years in the Camden Select Board, which was great, but I love the county work. It really fits into my knowledge and experience really well, and so working really hard. So I really enjoyed it a lot, and hopefully we can make things better for everyone.
And I think there were times that without your dedication, that 911 center might not have.
Oh, it would.
It might Anyway, thank
I
you.
could tell stories, but at one point, we were within an hour of it being shut down by the state. And
Is it
now
fully
it's,
staffed?
pardon me?
Is it fully staffed now?
It's, actually, we had one person that just resigned to move on to something else, so we have one opening. And in the previous times, it was never fully staffed ever in the history of it existing, so now it's doing quite well.
It's close, really, really
So
close.
it's great, and
Excellent.
we have multiple applicants. As I always said when I tried to get involved, we wanted it to be not the place that people didn't want to work, we wanted it to be the place that people wanted to work. So we always have multiple applicants waiting to come aboard, which is great. So it's really, we're in a good place right now. So that's it.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
Have a good afternoon, have a good meeting. Congratulations to the new people.
Yep.
And of course, you're a little bit involved with Rockport for a while.
Linda has
I
a
heard.
little background on
2 or
how
3
we do
weeks or
things.
something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, welcome back. Can't stay away, can you?
No.
Yeah, I understand. Anyway, thank you.
All right, thanks, Mark. Linda, you want to?
Good evening. Linda Clancy, Rockport resident. I have just a couple of thoughts to read, and hopefully it stays within my time constraints. At the June 25th Planning Board meeting, I submitted a letter from the Rockport Pathways Committee to the Planning Board. It was included in the meeting packet and was similar in scope to letters likewise submitted from the Maine Coast Heritage Trust and the Mid-Coast Regional Housing Trust. If you all have not read that packet, I encourage you to do so. Tonight, I'm speaking as a resident, not representing the Pathways Committee, basically because I didn't have time to talk to anybody on the committee. So this is solely from me. So a variety of interests all advocate for the future of one important intersection in town and how Rockport integrates and commands its municipal oversight of smart growth. This happens to fall at a juncture when we are between town planners, but we are not rudderless. The Planning Board approved a 24-unit apartment complex at 3 Cross Street in accordance with the municipal code and the 2025 comp plan. Directly across Cross Street, the Homestead housing development is underway with room there for expansion. Across Route 90 is Maine Coast Heritage Trust, which is actively engaged in the community with gardens, trails, and educational efforts. Just nearby is an elementary school and then a high school. The town is developing rapidly there, all in line with the 2004 comp plan, intention to grow Rockport Village in that direction, and the 2025 comp plan goal to build more housing. We are on course. But the intersection of Cross Street and Route 90 is a confluence of different interests, which also include the Maine Department of Transportation and Central Maine Power. And there is a town goal to construct a pathway along Route 90 from Rockport Common to the high school with an esplanade. A thoughtful conversation took place June 25th at the Planning Board meeting, and I suggest you all watch the recording. It became apparent that night, however, that there is a need for collective visioning for this particular intersection and along Cross Street. The Planning Board is subject to its own constraints for oversight of a comprehensive design, but there's a strong interest by multiple parties in making this intersection work for the community. After the meeting, a number of citizens, Will, Mary Jane, John, and other Cross Street homeowners indicated a desire to move forward with that conversation. This is Rockport's chance to shape the contours of how it grows. The opportunity is now, not 6 months from now. Residents along Cross Street are worried about increased vehicular traffic from residents at the 24-unit apartment complex. They walk their dogs along the road there, and it is like other Rockport town-maintained roads, unmarked pavement to narrow shoulders that are ditched, not made for pedestrians, and with increased car traffic going along at fast clip, not safe. But who can collect the threads at this inflection point for the town? Is it the Rockport Comp Plan Implementation Task Force? That was suggested at the June 25th meeting. The 2025 Rockport Comp Plan states, quote, "The town of Rockport should seek to achieve an appropriate balance between encouraging reasonable growth to meet the housing and business service needs of an increased population and maintaining the beauty and characteristics of Rockport that make it a unique and desirable place to live and work. The comp plan also lists a town goal, quote, to promote public health, protect natural and cultural resources, and enhance livability by managing land in ways that maximize the efficiency of the transportation system and minimize increases in vehicle miles traveled. This particular intersection is an opportunity for the town to take the lead and thoughtfully create a neighborhood corner, as opposed to our every familiar strips of pavement with curb cuts that cater to cars but not pedestrians and bicyclists, not children nor the elderly, all who will likely want to walk down to Rockport Common for a community event. We, speaking of the folks after the planning board meeting, look forward to participating and collaborating in a conversation that creates an efficient and aesthetically pleasing corner of town that can be a model for Rockport as it works towards the goal of increased housing, but with transportation infrastructure that benefits pedestrians and bicyclists. It is Rockport's chance to shine at smart growth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments on non-agenda items? Next, we have the town manager's report and updates.
Okay. Well, if I can find my handy dandy here. We have first a bit of sad news. Bill Post, who preceded me as our town manager, passed away last week after a battle with ALS. Bill was obviously had been a resident of the Mid-Coast for a number of years, grew up here, settled his family in Waldoboro, and though he was here a very short time, it was a very impactful time in Rockport's history. Obviously, the construction of the new Rockport Public Library, Bill had a really large role in seeing that project come to be and to finished. I literally, one of the first things I did was actually just have a chance to open the doors. But Bill did the hard work as a manager and saw through some difficult times to see that through. The other thing that I want to mention certainly is the COVID-19 pandemic. That was a situation that for every municipal manager was unworkable. Laws told you to do one thing, but common sense told you to do another. And Bill oversaw that process and that challenge that all of us faced. But it was certainly difficult, and obviously the unknowing through all of that. And I'd known Bill for many years, first from his role at Knox County as the county administrator, and then his role in Waldoboro as town manager there, and other municipalities as well. Certainly we send our condolences out to Bill and his family. Really tragic circumstance, but he was really a stalwart, a big member of the ICMA, Main Town City Managers, and gave so much back to our profession. So to thank Bill for all his efforts here in Rockport, and think of his family at this time. In terms of Rockport-related matters, we've noticed a big uptick in speeding. People are here, the visitors are here. We hope they're spending money in restaurants and shops and services that they can, hotels, but we also want them to maybe just dial it back a little bit on the speed if they could. We have some speed boards that have been out around town in numerous locations. If they're not yet in your location, they will be there soon. We're trying to move them around and trying to get the right approach in all these locations. I'm obviously receiving emails. Our interim chief, Jim Greeley, is also receiving them. Certainly feel free to reach out to us if you have concerns. We had one about Lime Rock Street, which is, it's about that time of year for that concern. And but it's happening in a number of different spots, and so we're trying to make sure that enforcement is occurring, the visibility of our officers If you'd like them to sit in your doorway, in your doorway, so that you can slow down speeds in front of your neighborhood, that's always a very thankful, appreciated effort from our police department. So anyway, that's certainly occurring. We do have an opening in the patrol, so if you're interested and maybe want to stop speeders on your street and many others in Rockport, we do have an opening. We'd love to have a new patrol officer join our ranks. We do have a couple other positions. Our planning and community development director position is open. We're accepting resumes on that, as well as a public works crew leader. So in terms of the bigger picture, we have Rockport Common project is underway. You see the trailer for construction was delivered. The fencing obviously is up. I would expect Farley and Son will be, or Farley Incorporated will be soon removing trees and getting that project moving swiftly. The fiber installation is a project that has been unfortunately delayed, largely due to not from willingness of completing the project, but really a challenging, I suppose, electrical engineering problem that is far beyond my pay grade to be able to handle. But they are working on trying to draw that plan together and hoping to have some installations as soon as September, I believe. So keep an eye out for that. Our public works crews are out and about. They are ditching, they are tree cutting, they're doing all they can to prepare for paving this fall. You may have seen we had a pretty substantial amount of tree cutting out on the South Street. There's a lot of work being done on South Street, Meadow Street, in that area. There may need, as we move through the summer, some days where those roads are closed. We're using Civic Ready though. If you're not yet on Civic Ready, that's our text service that lets you know what's going on and when things are happening. If you're not on there, you can come into the office, we can talk you through it. That's the best way to find out, hey, my road's
Or you can go
closed.
online to the website.
Right.
You don't have to go into the town office.
No, but if you don't know, that's
Yeah.
beyond, we can help you with that.
Electronically challenged.
That's, yes, exactly. And if you want to know other projects that we have going on, you can go to rockportmaine.gov/publicworks. We have all the road projects are on there, as well as a map that you can maybe look and see what do I own, what does the town own, where's the road. All those details are really, really important. And so if we're in your neighborhood, just make sure you have some of that information and you can understand where we're headed. That's about it.
Okay, great. Any questions for John?
John, I saw your note about the removal of poles by Axiom,
Yeah,
which I am wholeheartedly
I
in
know.
favor of.
Thought that might make you happy.
Yeah. Gonna have to change the name of the town back again to,
Rock pole, is it?
Yeah.
No.
do they have permission to move the lines on the old poles?
So,
Or
I mean,
are
this
they
is.
just gonna be pulling out the ones that already have lines missing?
No, this is engaging coastal, CCI, Spectrum, and CMP. All three of those entities.
Have agreed to let Axiom move it?
Well, in each poll, there's a different person involved, but the shorthand is get someone who's amongst that circle of friends, and then you can move the mountains that you need to get the polls moving where you need to go. And so what Mike Young has been able to do in working with the engineers who are designing this and the contractor who's handling the project is to get among that circle of friends the right amount of, let's say, grease we need to get people moving on this. It's just, they know it needs to be done, but it's easy enough to bypass it. And that's what seemed to be, we've always been the bottom of the list. No one benefits from removing a pole. It's just another eyesore for someone else to deal with, unfortunately.
And
So
do we have 110, what was the number of?
173 double poles.
173 double poles. That's, they
Yeah.
brought in
Who's
the
counting?
new pole and they never cleaned up the old and got rid of the old.
Some are on state roads, and so Route 1 is on that list, but enough's enough.
Enough's enough.
Yeah,
That's great.
so we're hoping to get 2 for 1. Get some fiber and get some of these poles out of the way. That's the plan.
Great. Anything else for John? All right. Thanks, John. Next is our consent agenda. We have two sets of meeting minutes, both of which did not involve Samantha or Linda, which means only the three of us can vote on that consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay,
Second.
and John? All those in favor? 3.
And just
Zero.
as a point of clarification, consent agendas require a vote, correct?
Well, I don't want to get into that legal question. We have always done a vote with our consent agenda.
Okay, all right, all right.
So just leave it at that. Next, we have, we're moving into our action items. And the first item on it is our select board minutes from June 11, 2026, when everybody here was at that meeting. So do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Okay. And do we have a second?
Second.
Samantha. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Great. Okay. Next, committee resignations. We have Eric Winters, who is resigning from the Parks and Beautification Committee, and there's a note in the packet from Eric. He's been an incredible member for the Parks Committee. He's single-handedly has kept this white fence out here nicely painted. He's been down in Harbor Park trying to clean out the lime kilns with a flamethrower or something that he uses down there when everything's nice and wet. Anyway, Eric's been an invaluable contributor. He is very engaged with Cedar Works and has brought a nice partnership with the town too, with Cedar Works, with some donated picnic benches, picnic tables. Anyway, we'll, as the liaison to the Parks Committee, we will miss Eric and appreciate all his service. So do we have a motion to approve the resignation of Eric?
I move to approve the committee resignation of Eric Winters in the Parks and Beautification Committee with many thanks.
Okay, nicely. And a second.
Second.
Thanks, John. All those in favor? 5-0. Great. And just when you have someone resign, we have someone else who's volunteered to join the Parks Committee. And I see Susan is here, Susan Burtnett. And Susan, do you want to come on up and just tell us a little bit about yourself as someone who would like to join the Parks Committee? If you state your name and your address.
Oh, my name is Sue Burtnett, and I live at 3 Birch Street in Rockport. I've been a summer resident for probably 30 years, but I've just recently moved here full-time.
Yay.
And I wanted to be of service. And when I looked over all of the committees available, because I am a member of the Garden Club, of course, Parks just, came right on the top of my list. And Lee Goss mentioned at a board meeting that you all needed some people to volunteer for that committee. And so I said, I'll do it. So here I am.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Susan? And I know Paula Coyne, who is the chair of the Parks Committee, is very supportive of your application, so that is a good thing. Okay, do we have a motion to, thank you, Susan. Okay.
I move to approve the committee application from Susan Burnett for the Parks and Beautification Committee with a term ending June 2027, filling the term of Eric Winters as presented.
Great. Is there a second?
I second.
Samantha. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Great. Okay, next we have the annual committee renewals. So this, I don't know, John, basically you have committee members who have served their 3 years on their committee, and Diane reaches out to each of them before, they expire June 30, reaches out and says, do you want to re-up? Yep. And this list that's attached in our packet are the committee members who have guess Sam Clark did not re-up for the planning board, and we did not hear from Max McCool for the
Right.
zoning board of appeals. So those are probably openings. And
Yeah,
then
I
the
believe
rest,
Sam he took a new job or something.
That's
oh,
what I
he's
think
no
I
longer
heard
with
that.
Rockport
Yeah,
Marine.
he's no longer.
Maybe he's not even in town.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so we have these committee renewals that are shown on the sheet. And I think it says,
So we're approving everybody but Sam and Max?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want to make the motion, John?
Oh, I move that we approve the renewals of the committee members, the annual committee renewals as presented. And the document is in the select board packet, so I guess I don't need to read them all.
I don't
unless you
think
want me
so.
to. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Kim? Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, 5-0. All right, next we have the select board bylaws. And that we talked about at our last meeting, just that that's something we do annually, is take a look at our bylaws and decide whether we want to make any changes. And, you know, in the packet, John Duke had, there's a suggested change or a suggested addition of a new section to just clarify for the public about public comment. And I guess that's in front of everybody. It's in the packet. I don't know if that can come up. Jeff, can you put that language up on the screen here? From the agenda?
No, it's section 7, Jeff, public comment.
From the
Page
bylaws?
53 of the PDF.
That kind of page, that kind of number, I guess.
How's that?
Oh.
Does that help? Okay.
Okay.
I can
We
talk
can-
about a couple other things while we're doing
Okay,
that.
yeah, why don't you do that,
Um,
John?
So there's a section 3 in here. I can't give you guys a page number because I'm in a different format because I had to convert it to a Word.
Yeah,
doc.
just the first page of the bylaws,
First,
section 3.
Section 3 of the
Okay.
bylaws. It just says in parentheses about our meetings each month except June, when the meeting shall be the 4th Monday. That's.
Yeah, and we didn't do that this year, but that's typically, we've done the organizational meeting.
On the 4th Monday.
No, we do the
No.
organizational meeting the day after the election. And
Right.
that,
Right.
usually the agenda might be sort of circumscribed. It might just be the chair, vice chair.
Yeah, so then we don't
And-
really have a June, well, we did the June meeting before the town meeting this
Well,
year.
this year we didn't have it because we just didn't really have anything on an agenda to have a meeting at the end of June. But we have typically had, I don't know if Diane put that in our list of select board meeting.
Well, didn't we have a
Yeah.
meeting on the first Monday in June and then,
We did.
yeah, and then the
Yeah,
organizational meeting?
and then so
Yeah.
so that fourth Monday meeting, this year we didn't have it, but we do typically have it. It's like the last week in
Okay,
June.
all right.
And I guess it does come on pretty quickly then when you have the second week in July, and I guess nothing prevents us as we get closer in time to see whether we have enough items to have a meeting in 2 weeks after one.
All right, well, it's just so specific, I don't know if is it that we're required to have that meeting, or is it kind of? If it's in
No,
our
I think,
bylaws, it's almost like we're required, aren't we?
Yeah.
It does say shall.
Yeah, you may want to
Yeah,
check
maybe
in
we-
May.
meeting
Yeah,
may
maybe
be,
shall.
Not the
May.
month, but yes.
yeah, the
term,
small,
yeah.
small m,
Yeah,
Small m.
right.
except June when the meeting may be,
May hold or may be held, yeah, you're right, just change shall
May.
to may.
okay.
And then the other
Good-
question I
good
had
question.
was, where was it? This thing keeps moving around too much. So this was the review of the town manager, John?
Yep. Okay.
Where was that?
That's section 7,
8 now.
old 8 now. Section 8, so it's the third page of the
Right below the green.
bylaws.
Yep.
So this, I guess, if I'm reading this correctly, because it follows about the idea of establishing goals. So I'm assuming that the written review it's asking for is the town manager's performance against those goals from the prior year. Is that?
That's how I've read it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think that's,
so that, we need to do that somewhere soon, because it's required by August 31st, right?
or July 31st.
Or July
really.
31st, I'm sorry, yeah.
Or
Yeah, I wonder if those should be the same dates. Would it make more sense to make it? If you're gonna be talking about new goals, it seems like a good time to talk about achievement of old goals and what's maybe still left to move forward, or, so if we made that August 31st of each year.
Well, actually, if you're reviewing a prior year, then that usually is a prelude to your goals for your next year.
Okay,
So frankly, having them a month apart makes sense from
Okay.
that perspective.
okay, so we just gotta get on the stick to get this done by July 31st.
So, I guess, how do we conduct that, or how do we prepare that written? Do we need a meeting to do that, John? How do we all sign off on that?
Well, it says you shall hold and you shall conduct a formal written review, but it doesn't say the format of how that is
Right, how
compiled.
that can be done. If
Could
it,
we
Because-
just, could we just do it on a SharePoint or something, or?
something that's public, if we're gonna be,
Yeah, I mean, it's a public document, because it's here.
Well, but if it's
We
a
might- you know what,
review, it's a
this-
personnel matter.
and
So
this
you'd
might
have
be
to-
something to ask Phil.
Yeah.
All right,
Because-
so we need an opinion on
I
that.
would
we
make
need some
sure
legal
you're-
advice on this one.
I mean, the goals, that's the thing, it's a very public, the goals are a very public thing generally, right? In
yeah.
terms of the overall arching, what are we asking this person to do? But then there's also personnel rules to have to, I don't know the answer, honestly.
Okay. well,
Yeah, let's set that second sentence to, because there's nothing magic about today. If we can change the
No.
bylaws anytime we want. Today's, annually is a good opportunity to review it and see what we might want to change, but let's get legal advice on that, and then we can come back and
Okay.
decide based on that what we want to do. Okay, good.
Well, we don't have much time, whatever we're doing, because we gotta have something done by July 31st.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll-
and the other part of that, I mean, there has been a review that was, an executive session, but that's not something that's approved, and then how do you approve something
And you
that's not
can't really
executive
have
session?
it's-
You can't
the
vote in
goals
executive
can be
So
session.
public.
that's why I'm saying,
It's-
Yeah, and I
whatever
think
we
what we're gonna
publish
hear from
is
Phil
gonna
is-
be relatively obvious, I
Right.
guess. So, but we do have to have something in writing.
Yeah.
So I'm not suggesting that we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of an individual's performance and
No,
personnel stuff. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
And I don't know, we do have the fiscal year '26 goals. I don't know if, are we in a position to just go through and say, done, 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 still out of our hands? I mean, I don't usually, it'd be better if everybody'd had a chance to sort of look at it.
Yeah.
You'd had a chance to look at it and give us some comments. And I guess I'm not, I don't want to miss deadlines, but if, at this point, we need to get legal advice on what's appropriate.
sure.
It's
And
also a bylaw.
Our next meeting is August 3rd, so it's like 4 days after July 31st, or 3.
But it's also a bylaw, so as long as, the only thing you can't run afoul of is the charter. The
So
bylaw, you can
we can say, oops,
suspend your bylaws,
Yeah.
you can amend your bylaws. Those are rules that surely govern your own activities. The charter is.
and could we
you
do a
know,
motion tonight that we extend that date for this year
Sure,
till our August 3rd meeting? So
Yeah.
that-
yeah.
Let's do that.
Or until we get legal advice.
Yeah, that's true, because if
Yeah.
the lawyer's on vacation or something and we can't get it right away, yeah. Okay, so, does that make enough sense? Do you want to make a motion?
Sure. All right. I move to approve the select board bylaws as amended.
Oh, wait, there's going to be more,
Oh,
because we need to talk about that public comment language.
okay. All right.
I'm getting mixed
I
up. So,
rescinded what I started.
yeah. So this is, I don't know that we necessarily even need to change our bylaws for this. this motion would just be, I move that we extend the July 31 deadline
Okay.
in the bylaws until we can get legal advice on the.
So do that as a separate
formal-
motion.
Yeah, that's independent of approving a bylaw change.
I move to extend the July 31st deadline for the performance review pending legal advice.
Okay, great. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Go ahead, Linda.
Linda, Kim. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor? Okay, that's 5-0. All right, now back to the bylaws. So we have the proposed language by John. I just had a few cleanup ways to express that. I think I'm not affecting the substance of it. I just had put the select board shall, I'll just read it. We've got it up here. You have it in front of you on your screens. The select board shall include in its agenda for each regular meeting of the board an item for public comment on non-agenda items, period. So the contain a section of would be deleted. John, let's see, you're not able to operate that,
I don't have
right?
that, no. I do have the draft, though. I can
Yeah.
give it to-
What I was just this is a little awkward, the language that's written here, so I just cleaned it up. The select board shall include in its agenda for each regular meeting of the board an item for public comment on non-agenda items. Then the next sentence, the board is not obligated to respond to public comments, but may choose, and that's unchanged from John's draft here. Next sentence, everyone in attendance at the meeting shall have the opportunity to comment for up to 3 minutes on non-agenda items instead of absent from that meeting's agenda. I thought non-agenda was just a cleaner way to say that. For public comment on items on the agenda, the chair will provide an opportunity for public comment prior to select board decision. Because we had talked earlier about, sometimes we might want to have a discussion and then listen to public comment and then make our decision. Maybe we want further discussion after public comment so we can incorporate what we heard during the public comment. We just didn't want to be locked in. And the key point is that we would get public comment before we're making a decision on that item.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
And Denise, do we want to include some discretion to allow someone to speak more than 3 minutes?
That was a good,
yeah, I mean, obviously, if we don't want to cut somebody off if there's
No, but if
important
we are hearing
information.
something
Yeah,
and we kind
Yep.
of feel like
this
they
should
should have more
continue.
time to
Yep.
finish what they're saying or whatever.
Mm-hmm. For up to 3 minutes or longer at the select board's discretion. I think
Yeah.
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 I think that's a good change. And probably the same, we'll have up to 3 minutes to comment or longer for both non-agenda and agenda items. Okay. Okay, how do we do, are you okay when I read those changes, which were
Yeah,
just
I mean,
And
cleanups?
then just fix the spelling on section.
Yes, I saw, I knew you would find that. Okay, John, you've got my changes, and then we're gonna add the
Except for those.
parentheticals
Yep.
or longer at the select board's discretion for both places where 3 minutes is referenced. Okay,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So how do you determine the discretion, or how do you vote?
Yeah.
Do you we'll vote to extend?
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
leaves it open that if one member of the select board feels like, hey, I'd like to hear them speak longer.
Yep.
And if it's in any way, contentious, we just have a vote.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
but I think we all, as we said, one of our goals will be to make sure the public, that we're communicating with the public.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good question.
I just wanted to be clear. I whatever the number is, it's 3, it's 5, it's 15. That's my only concern is just to ensure that you try to as best you can with this being a new thing, try to treat everyone the same or try to.
That's what I
because
was thinking, at
that's
least
the
with the
concern.
topic. If,
Okay, well,
you
then
know.
leave it at 3 and we'll see where
Well,
it goes.
do it, if you want to add, we've had concerns where people felt like, well, maybe there was
I think
differentiation in
and
that.
arguably, we
Yeah.
always would have the discretion.
Yeah,
I mean, we're never going to say, oh gosh, our bylaws.
Yeah, and then there's ways you can say, look, we got 15 people here that want to talk.
yeah,
If we still have time
Yeah.
at the end, you can come back and,
Finish more.
That's-
Good,
Yeah.
it's good to have something to lean
Okay,
on
yeah.
if we need it, if somebody's really off the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that, and I
Off
think,
the
yeah,
rails.
it's just trying to frame up the expectations for the
Yeah.
public, so they
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
get disappointed if.
okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
So do we take out the longer at select board discretion because it's too goosey, or?
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like we have room to make that call.
I think we can
leave
do-
it in so that people know that we're not gonna be,
I know,
a
that's what
wall.
I don't want
I
to,
think it just.
but it does take away but, yeah.
Maybe there's a sentence at the end, the board reserves the right to extend, or something of that nature, rather than on
At each
side.
one,
Yeah, because the board, to suspend the bylaws, it takes 2/3 vote, but, you could, a majority vote can extend this timetable or the time limits.
the board reserves the right to
I
extend.
don't know,
What is 2/3 of 5? Would that be
4.
4?
You have to have
Yeah,
4,
That means 4, okay.
yeah. So you're not supposed to suspend your bylaws, but most
Okay.
things are 5-0 anyway.
The board reserves the right to extend these time limits if, well, I guess that's, what do you guys think about that? The board reserves the right to extend these time limits.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we'll add that sentence at the end. No, none of the two parentheticals we sort of just discussed. Okay, so that change and then the earlier change are part of the select board bylaws as amended. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the select board bylaws as amended.
Great.
I second.
Okay, Kim, Sam, all those in favor? 5-0, great. Okay. Next, we have select board liaisons. And I wanted to, on the list that was attached to the packet, the first one is the Board of Assessment Review. And after talking to Carrie Lightman, that's sort of just a legal, it's by statute, you have to create this Board of Assessment Review. There's really no role for a liaison there. So even though it's I guess, a committee of the select board, we're not looking for a liaison for that committee. So let's move on to the rest of them. So, but should we just go through each one? Do you want to say, starting with Linda, what ones you'd like to be on? What's the best way, do we think, to proceed?
Perhaps to maybe start, are there any those of you that are on committees that you maybe don't want to be on anymore? Because it's a little awkward
Yeah.
for Linda.
I know.
And me to say I want to be on this when you guys are on it, so it'd be helpful if anyone wants to
Fair enough.
leave one.
So I do want to, I guess, Legacy Rockport, I've been on, and I'm going to withdraw from that. And
Okay.
Linda's going to take on that. Linda was on it back in the day.
Okay.
And I think they're excited to have her back. And, so Linda and I also, so Linda will now be the Legacy Rockport one. I've got, first of all, we have sometimes had two liaisons on a committee that a lot of people want to participate in. So that isn't, if there's something you really want to, if two people really want to still participate in a committee, that is okay too. I've got the Library Committee, Economic Development Committee, and Parks and Beautification. And I'm fine if somebody else would like to, I've been involved with those, but if, either you guys are interested in one of those,
I'd just soon be on the library committee with you,
okay. You
or
wanna-
when you're not available.
That
I
would be
could take
great.
your place.
Perfect. Sounds great. Okay.
I will probably sit in on the economic development.
And that's the other thing, these are
Yeah.
public meetings, so please
Yeah, I
come.
think
Yeah.
I,
That's a great committee, and
Yeah,
the
I'll-
more the
I'll-
merrier on that one, for
okay,
sure.
great.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you down, though, because with your business engagement and experience, I think that'll be really
Okay.
valuable. Okay, let's see. So Recreation Committee, we have an opening there. Anybody want to be the liaison for the Recreation Committee? And that, pretty straightforward at this point, right, John? I mean, it started initially when Marge Jones needed a lot of work and a lot of help, and that's really come together. It's a beautiful area out there, so. Anybody? Okay.
I can take it.
Okay,
Jim?
great. Next, the one that shows an opening here, again, not to say if there's something else that somebody wants to be a part of. Camden Rockport Pathways Committee,
Yeah, I'd like to be on that.
great. Legacy Rockport, we just talked about. Midcoast Internet Development Corporation, that's really just part of the fiber installation that's going on. McCog, John, you're good with that. Oh, Midcoast Solid Waste, that's an important one. That's actually,
Depending on the schedule.
I talked to Bill Bowe a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's a quarterly meeting. I'm
Okay.
sure they can make some
Okay.
flexibility to make that work. 'Cause
Yeah, I will do that one.
that would be great. Because I think that, is such a great way, you
Yeah.
know this, but also for everyone to know, for the regional.
Okay.
Because we're working with the 3 other towns, and it's a
Absolutely.
great way to get to know people there.
Yeah, and that's proven to be a really successful collaboration.
Example of regional collaboration, yeah. And you're not just a liaison, really, though. You're a member of the board of directors.
Voting member,
A
yep.
voting member, so you even have some power. Let's see. Anything else on here that someone would like to be a part of? Again, the meetings are always public. I know last year, Budget Committee, I think almost all of us were attending all the Budget Committee meetings, so.
Yeah, and I'm happy with continuing to be the liaison. I know, Sam, you're interested in that, if you want to co-liaison that with me, but I don't know how
Sorry,
many.
which one?
Budget. I don't know how many more meetings you want to be.
I might be budget adjacent.
There, that's it.
All right, we'll put you in
A new
parentheses
term.
after that.
And
Planning board-
again, yeah, you can.
Planning board, I love doing that. It's been doing it for many years. Happy to have somebody else involved if they want to join. Comprehensive Plan Implementation Task Force.
Oh, wait, I'm Harbor Strategic Plan Implementation Task Force, aren't I?
I don't know.
I think I am.
No, I was that, but you were some other harbor plan. You were the
VPI.
harbor plan. I was the implementation.
Oh.
When it became an implementation.
Oh, okay, so I got
So-
you what you have now, and now you're
Yeah.
running with it,
Yeah,
okay.
you
You're running
created,
with it, John.
you
The
created.
task force is
I'm
gone.
putting that file in
Making
my
it happen.
filing cabinet then, I've had it
Yes.
in my
But
live
I
file.
don't think there's anything to implement at this stage.
No, we've got the
No.
engineers are doing the
It's
RFP
kind of
for
in
the
limbo,
pricing.
so
and-
I
Need
probably
money.
won't reactivate for what, a year, John?
Well, if we get a couple grants, things could activate very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and I think we have some good prospects, so.
Yeah, but, okay, 6 months, it's.
Yeah.
In the very least.
Let's say
it's
that.
gonna be pretty dormant, but I'll continue to do it.
Great.
Since I've got some history there.
Okay.
Okay,
Those are my,
so let's see, everybody happy with what they got? Do they want to have something different or more?
Did I miss conservation? I'm sorry.
Oh, did I,
yeah,
Oh,
did Linda take that
Linda, I
one?
think, said she
Did you
wanted.
okay, sorry, I missed that. And the staff liaison, I missed this one. That
Oh,
one's
that's-
Orion. Or, yeah, it's Orion.
Yeah, you're right,
Sorry, I
and it'll
missed
be
that.
whoever our new plan,
I'm over here.
okay.
And ZBA is Kim?
Yep.
and Kim.
Okay.
That one's a really active one.
That one, I think, I don't know how you have time to fit that in.
I don't know. We almost had a meeting, and then we didn't.
All right, well, that, I don't think we vote on, do we vote on these?
I think that there is, I think it's set up
It's
to
set up as a
do
vote?
that.
Okay, well, we're pretty good at voting. We got that down.
I move to approve the select board liaisons as discussed.
Okay. That's Kim,
Second.
John, all those in favor? 5-0, great. And John, you were taking notes of all those, so we're, and I've got
the
a
list.
backup
Check it
probably
twice.
if it, yeah.
I've got scribbles.
Is that
Yeah.
in, are you, is it in your packet of your edits?
What do you mean?
The edit for the minutes, are those, is that included in your packet as an edit that you, when you hand it in or not?
You mean like if we fill this out, should I fill?
Well, yeah, I didn't know if that was one of the with the papers that we scan and put in the minutes, that's why I was.
Yeah, it would make sense to do that so that somebody can look at our minutes and
I
say,
didn't-
I see who's
yeah.
on the,
Do
who's
you
the
have,
liaison.
do you have it scribbled down?
Your scribbling looks nicer than mine.
Here.
Mine looks like scribbles.
Teamwork,
No.
teamwork.
We'll find you something that works,
I-
and especially
Or
if
just reprint it.
Diane gave us a.
Or just reprint it
yeah.
and do it.
If it's
just
a
reprint
it.
Word
Yeah.
or a spreadsheet.
I just, yeah. the
Yeah,
version
you
I
just
had.
reprint it and put it in the minutes.
Okay.
Okay, well, then give that back.
Okay.
Okay, he wants it back.
Yeah, you can have it back.
Makes sense to me.
Actually-
I don't know why you can't read it.
Can I look at the scribbles just to make sure I didn't miss anything?
All right.
Because I did miss conservation, so, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Next is the town auditor appointment. And that one, John, we've
Are we
got.
doing liaison reports, or are we doing these appointments first? Oh, somewhere. We had,
Liaison reports are at the end.
okay, got it.
Yeah, so I'm on item G, for 6G of the agenda, town auditor appointment. And the town charter requires appointments of the town auditor. Peter Hall has served as our auditor since 2021, and this is just a pro forma appointment because the charter says we have to do it.
So just a quick question on this.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the guidelines are that you tend to want to change your auditor
It's funny, I was gonna say this exact same question.
every, yeah, is it like 5 years or 7 years? Linda, what's your experience with that? I mean, we don't want to go like 30 years with the same auditor. That's not good practice.
Right.
So I don't think this is an
Let's
issue
appoint
here.
this guy tonight, but I think that's a good Megan question, like,
Right,
Do
I
we know
mean,
how many years? Oh, since
since
21.
2021, so it's
Yep.
been, we're right on the 5
We're at
year.
5 years, yeah. Yeah, I think
And we
it's
can
definitely
find out
worth
what-
revisiting that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we may have to line a new one up for next year or something.
Yeah, and I know that there aren't very many, and I
No.
know it's really hard to get them to work for you. I mean,
Yeah.
But that's a good question to ask Megan and have a discussion about, so I appreciate we want to be financially responsible.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think fresh,
just a
I think
rubber
fresh eyes
stamp.
are really important, particularly with like the smaller the town, the fresher the eyes in a way, because
Mhm.
it's,
Yeah, and maybe we could,
pro
John,
forma can be a problem.
have Megan at some meeting,
Mm-hmm.
maybe our next one, just talk to us about, because again, these appointments, well, anyway, and we can ask questions of Megan,
Yep.
she can explain
Yep.
what the auditor does do, and
Okay.
get a better sense of all of that. All right, do we have a motion to approve the town auditor appointment?
I move to approve town auditor appointment Peter Hall, CPA, as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Kim? Any further discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. Okay. Next is the MMA Legislative Policy Committee ballot. Okay, John, you missed one.
Yeah, this is biannually, this is, all the municipalities in the state of Maine are asked to vote towards the Legislative Policy Committee candidates within their Senate district. So all of the state is broken up by Senate district, and then the board in each of, or the boards, I suppose, in those districts all elect through these ballots who represents those municipalities on the MMA's Legislative Policy Committee. We are, this area is, the Senate district is largely Knox County. So there's two candidates who are serving, Kara George and Carrie Leishman. He doesn't, I thought he had it up. Carrie, of course, is our long-term assessor, although he's working in Camden, but obviously he's been part of Rockport for many, many years. And Kara has been the town manager in Thomaston for the last 3 or 4 years. They're the only candidates. You could write in people, but I don't know of any other outstanding candidates, so I would urge a vote in their favor.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the MMA Legislative Policy Committee ballot?
I move to approve the MMA Legislative Policy Committee ballot as presented.
We have a second.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. And that's one, we have a couple things at the end of, after the meeting's over that we all need to sign. And that's one of them. Next is a quitclaim deed for map T, well, I'm not going to read it out. For a piece of property. John, do you
For
want to?
timeshare.
For a timeshare at the
timeshare.
Samoset. Yeah.
It's a timeshare that was unpaid, and so we're turning it back to the,
So that's all, they're all
Gardens.
paid up. We've been made
Right.
whole with
Right.
any costs related to that.
the
Okay.
good news is that we are perhaps so close to no longer being the entity which manages the billing for the Samoset timeshares, which would be a tremendous lift, a removal of a burden onto our clerk's office. So as you can imagine, as number of timeshares and the number of weeks, that's how many bills have to go out, and they're
For
$12,
these little
$13,
tiny
$14 for the entire year. And you have to treat it just as you would the lien process for any home down the street. It's not an easy process. Right,
That's a-
Linda?
Right.
I'm happy to hear that that might be going away. That
Yes.
is great news.
Couldn't have done this before Linda retired.
That's what Linda's wondering, yeah.
It would have been nice. It would have. It really would have.
Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the quitclaim deed, map T03, lot A09-049 for Frederick E. Barton as presented.
Okay, second?
Second.
Kim. All those in favor? Great, 5-0. Okay. All right, that's the end of our action items. And then our next item is a discussion item, and that's a discussion of our select board goals. And I think we got to move forward with this. We have the town manager goals, where, you know, John has sort of let us know about various items that are happening, you know, that are going to happen this next year in the town. And, you know, those include things like work that would need to be done on the Goose River Bridge related to the installation of the sewer pipe, Rockport Common, as report mentioned. And these are sort of above and beyond. I mean, every town manager has above and beyond duties, but there's a lot of work that a town manager does that just involves day-to-day management of the personnel, of the departments, just as I've referred to it as keeping the trains running on time. And that's, you know, the bulk of what John Duke spends his time on, but there are other bigger picture items. Wastewater. We need to have a wastewater plan. We got to move, you know, make sure that we're strategically planning that. The Opera House, as we talked about at our workshop, we've got to make sure we're making plans for that. So these are things that are sort of coming from the town manager that he's alerted us to. He's indicated these are priorities for him to be working on this year. And as we referenced in our select board bylaws, there's a whole process for for town manager goals and review of those. The select board, obviously, we work closely with the town manager, both on, making sure and keeping the town manager moving forward on these priorities, and a lot of us may share those priorities. We want to make sure we're working on those things. It's an opportunity, really, for the select board to think about what we, as individual select board members and then as a group, want to see happen in Rockport over the next year. And it not only is sort of our ideas of how we would make Rockport a better community, but also how we could, it helps structure our meeting agendas. So we have a meeting a month, and on those agendas, we just went through a whole litany of things that are just presented to us that have to be on our agenda. But this is an opportunity to think of other things we could discuss as a select board that would be a goal of the select board. But tonight, we're not going to come up with all the elements of what it would take to achieve that goal. That could be an agenda item for another meeting where we would have that goal that we would have decided on tonight on an agenda, and then we could brainstorm, we could come up with ideas how to actually implement that goal in a meaningful way in the town. So, something, for example, like explore regional collaboration. We've already talked about that, and I'm just trying to give everybody a sense of, we have already created a regional task force, but we don't yet have any applicants for that regional task force. But there could be other elements to the whole notion of regional collaboration. It could be more than just the task force. Maybe each of us commits to, have meetings or coffee with people in other towns or officials in other towns to understand better what they're doing and where the opportunities for collaboration might be. Sam's willingness to be on Midcoast Solid Waste, that's a good way to get to know and meet other people. We have an opening on the Knox County Budget Committee. Mark didn't mention it, but Rockport has a place on the Knox County Budget Committee, and that again is another way to get to know people and in these other communities that is sort of sometimes how this collaboration happens. So anyway, the goal would be, explore regional collaboration, and I'm not trying to put words in it and define anything, but just as an example. And then we would have a meeting where we would talk about that in more depth, about what our commitments would be to really achieve that goal or further that goal. I don't know if that's too lengthy, but anyway, let's talk about it, and we can go around the room if you want to. People have ideas of things that they'd like to see in our goals, and go from there. And that's not to say we're not always working for the town and looking for ways to do things better just because it's not on the goals list, but it helps us stay at least making sure we achieve some important things for the town. So I don't want to.
I think a significant goal should be, this goes under regionalization, but to try to make fire, EMS, and police more efficient, budget-wise, personnel-wise, safety-wise, and efficient in a way that provides the best safety for our community, which I think all three are doing a terrific job right now. But that's not to say there isn't always room for improvement. And maybe just beginning that conversation with EMS in particular, and with extending this goal out a little bit, is perhaps having collaboration so that there isn't an overlap. And also with police, we've discussed police in terms of overnight, the overnight shift, collaboration with Camden with the overnight shift. So I think that should be a really primary goal, because that helps. That's like three birds with one stone. It's budget, it's safety, it's collaboration, and it really can be a win for whatever town we're talking about. I think that's a really key thing for us to work towards, and it's a good opportunity right now with so many changes that are occurring in the area.
Great.
So, to build on that a little bit, Sam, what would be something that we could see happen in the next year that would look like what you're hoping to achieve in the way of a goal? What would be a example of
Let me
that?
just interrupt, and I don't, Sam is, I mean, you're more than welcome to answer it, of course, but I don't want us to feel like by setting these goals, we have to tonight already know what the end result will be, because we may not, I mean, the whole point is to, then we can have a meeting, at one of our meetings, this would be the topic, and we might hear from the fire chief and the police chief and the EMS, and maybe more than just the chiefs, about what they would see as what would make them more efficient or what would be helpful. I mean, it's just, there's so much more we could learn before we start deciding.
Yeah, I think maybe what John's getting at is just, you know, specifics of what, what I'm thinking about, but just off the top of my head, not to get into the discussion, but just off
No,
the top
go
of my
for it,
head,
yeah.
you know, getting back to the kind of collaboration that we had with the police, sharing the police chief, and of course the EMS, you know, getting back. A lot of this is kind of going backwards, but if that's where I think we need to be, getting back into discussions with Camden, with EMS, and seeing where that broke down. Can we rebuild it? Is there another option?
So a goal in that sense that might be a little more measurable would be something like have a meeting between the two towns focused on fire, EMS, police collaboration, somewhere in the next 12 months.
Ideally sooner, yes.
Well, okay.
Definitely
I'm
within
giving
the
you a
next
lot of
12
room
months.
on that one, but
Yes,
I'm just
thank
saying,
you.
within 6 months or within the next
I'll say
3
eight.
months.
I'm going to say 8. I'll say 8 months for
right.
sure.
Right.
But yes.
So I would, you know, in the area of regionalization, I think it would be to make something work for the way my brain thinks about goals. For the select board to have a goal of engaging the regional task force.
So this is a goal, so that's your goal? Is that, do you have anything else? Are you going on to what your goals are, John, or are you framing up
Well, I
Samantha's
think we've
goal?
already got one from,
Okay,
Sam.
fair enough. Let's
Yeah.
move along. then.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. But building on what she's talking about,
Okay.
would be something like, you know, how would we say we have a regional task force, but we've established a vision and or a mission for it, but we don't have anybody on it.
Right.
So having a meeting to do any talk about, nothing's gonna happen until we have a fully engaged regional task force, you know, up and running.
Well, for the task force, I guess I want to, because we were talking about the idea of select board members meeting with Camden Select Board, I mean, that there's,
You're, I
so the
think
only
you're
way
missing
to
the
do
point.
regional collaboration isn't just the task force, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That-
Right. Okay, so that's another track to
So
this.
we were having those conversations at one point in time until we weren't, without a regionalization task force.
Right.
And now opportunities are becoming apparent.
I think we should all be focused on, you know, creating conversations any way we can.
Yep.
That could be a goal.
Mhm.
But we also have a regional task force that's not, you know, not up and running yet. So we need a goal for the select board to get that going. So I don't know if that's where I'm going with it, is to have us focus on recruiting members for it, or somehow taking more ownership of that, and then somehow getting the committee focused on establishing priorities and goals with timelines on regionalization. I would go a step further and say that it's realistic for the select board to have a goal in the area of regionalization that can actually end up by the end of the next fiscal year, this fiscal year, with something that will show we can save, I don't know, $10,000. Just pick a number.
Okay, and I hear what you're saying and how you want to get specific and all of that, and I mean, I think that's fine. I guess I just want to sort of keep open the notion that tonight is not the end of the discussion for this goal. The idea is that we would then build this into a meeting where we would have,
So the goal then is to have a meeting?
the goal is to, whether it's enhance regional collaboration, they're sort of broadly worded goals, and then we put meat on the bones at one of our meetings as a way, because there's going to be a lot of different ideas on how to achieve that goal. And you've got some ideas which are great and very specific, and others on the board may also have ideas if we've adopted it as a goal. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to, if what I'm talking about is not making sense, or if we wanted tonight have very specific goals with deadlines, I'm not trying to run.
Well, I'm not sure what we're discussing anymore, because I thought you wanted to discuss goals.
Right, but you and I have maybe some different ideas about what we mean when we say goals. And what I was trying to set up, and what we've done historically, is had sort of a general goal, like enhance regional collaboration, achieve regional collaboration, work towards regional collaboration.
So I'm just
pick
asking
your
you to
verb.
think about, what does that look like?
No, I appreciate that, but
Because a goal of work towards regional collaboration, I don't know if I've accomplished that or not at the end of the year. I don't know, what does that look like? You may have a different idea of what work towards regional, you may think, well, I had 2 good meetings with Camden
but does
or
it make
Rockland,
sense that it
therefore
then
I'm done.
would be
I can check
this-
that off my list.
right, does it make sense that it would then be at our September meeting? That would be a topic, a discussion topic at our September meeting about implementing that goal. And we would, as a board, we would have maybe some different people here. We'd hear from Midcoast Solid Waste. How is that collaboration working? What goes on there? Why is that so successful? Are there other places we could implement that? It's an opportunity to get more informed on that topic.
I think as setting a goal, you don't need to be informed, and you're going into the tactical level. So I'm talking about a strategic goal of putting something out there as a marker that says we're all moving towards that. And hopefully when we get there, we will be able to know we're accomplishing something because there will actually be, measurable, and $10,000 is really modest. We could come up with a way to save money, $10,000 presumably, without much effort in a regional collaborative way. So I'm just saying that's just a way to put something out there to shoot for.
Yeah, I think what Denise is saying is, we're just setting out a list, and then when we discuss, then we'll set.
Okay, but by then we're into the second quarter of the year, and we still don't have a goal. So I'm
depends on
fine,
how
I'm
you
fine.
define
If you want to
goal.
push it down the road,
No, it's
We'll
not,
do it.
it's not my intent to push it down the road, but in terms of the goals,
well, this is July, you're saying September.
okay.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a ways away.
That's just
I
an
don't know.
example.
Okay,
That was an
all right, well,
example. It
maybe
wasn't
I'm
necessarily
missing something
cast in
here, I
stone.
guess.
It was
I'm not sure what,
example.
okay.
So for you, John, you would like to, like regional task force,
You want benchmarks.
Yeah, I would like some benchmarks and I'd like some accountability. That's what I'm looking for. And I don't know
and
I don't know where you get accountability out of work towards regionalization. I don't know.
well, I guess for me, I don't want to sell it short of what might be possible in the regionalization discussion. I want to save a lot more than $10,000. I'm not
I know,
opposed to putting
I'm just making it easy. I'm just setting a pretty low bar with $10,000.
yeah.
I think in the next
Okay,
9 months,
I
we
mean-
ought to be able to come up with at least,
I guess it's a full
Something like
board
that.
discussion. I'm not trying to.
It's not as simple as us going to Kim and say, hey, you want to work together? It doesn't, it's not that simple. There's a lot of things that have to go into regionalization.
I understand.
And there's a lot of calculations that have to go into where the savings are going to be, if any. So it's not a quick and easy mark to get to.
I'm not looking for specifics on the goal. I'm just trying to create something that we're shooting for. and I don't care how we get there. I don't, it could be, we get it just by sharing some purchasing of sand for the roads in the winter, I don't know. Maybe we do a group buying thing, that's an easy $10,000, I don't know.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Well, with the regionalization task
But
force.
the fact
sorry.
that we're trying to find $10,000, say, means we're in active conversations with other towns to find some real savings, that we're holding ourselves accountable to some real dollars. Doesn't say anything about how we get there, but the fact that we've got something that's a financial goal means, okay, we gotta go find some money, you know, and we don't wanna, you know, we could greatly exceed that. There's nothing to prevent us from overachieving. I would love that. But without anything specific, I just don't see how we're, you know, it's just so easy to just keep saying, well, we don't have control of it. We've tried to have a couple meetings, it didn't work out, and, you know, that
Well,
kind
I
of-
think, like the regionalization task force, let me just throw this out. One of the things that we had talked about in connection with that is we don't really even have a good list of everything. Already is a lot going on in terms of regional collaboration, but we've never really put it all in one place. I mean, all the mutual aid, what does that look like for the EMS and fire? You know, Megan mentioned some things during the budget meetings that she actually works closely with her counterpart in Camden to come up with more efficient, better ways to do things. That there's a lot of this, it's not the big sheriff police chief level of collaboration, but there's a lot of stuff that's happening back and forth between us and our neighbors that it would be helpful to know about so that we can build from that. And that was sort of viewed as sort of groundwork for the regionalization task force to sort of begin working with staff to develop those lists.
What do we need to do to establish that task force?
It's established, we just need people to apply to be on it.
Is there a way that we can advertise it other than?
In our select board meetings. I
but
mean,
no-
Civic Alert, we could put something out on that.
Yep.
We could, if you.
Whenever I talk about it with people, they're very excited about it,
Yeah, so ask people if
Yeah.
they can submit an application to the town office.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah, and anybody who's listening or,
Right.
yeah, reach out. I know the budget committee, this was something that was important to them, so hopefully we'll have some budget committee participation. And I can't remember if we set a number for that task force.
We did, it was actually in the select board
Seven?
packet.
I think I had said 5, but I think you had.
I think we went with 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
So we can have that as a very short-term goal before our next meeting, is have some applicants for that regionalization task force. And, you know, things are really changing in terms of our relationship with our neighbor. There's a lot of stuff that's sort of happening informally right now, that's encouraging. So,
Can I ask what's changing?
no, I mean, you can ask, but I can't answer.
I think that's,
But it's good. It's all very positive, and there'll be.
it's not communicated.
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of, we have to treat confidences, but I think there's a willingness and a desire to work with us, I guess, is what I can tell
That's
you.
great.
Yeah.
That's great,
It-
but I also understand what John's saying and Sam's saying is,
Do you want to come up and talk, Rick? We'll let you do a quick talk, and then we'll get back to our goal setting.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
That's right. we
3 minutes.
just
3
adopted
minutes.
the
3 minutes. So I understand, I mean, what John's saying, Sam's saying is fine, and I understand what you want to do. You want to build on it. But if you get that started, yours will build automatically.
Great.
So if you
Thank
kick in
you.
a goal and say, look, I'm trying to put together something, and I don't know if you can buy sand together or not, but it makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
know,
That's
so
what we want to see happen.
If you guys say every meeting, I mean, we do it in our leadership meetings, we say, okay, we're gonna spend 15 minutes on this.
Yeah.
And you dedicate it. Next
Yep.
time you come to the meeting, Linda's gonna show up with 15 minutes of something to tell you, because she worked in the office. She knows where it's coming from.
Yep. Thank you.
So-
Yeah.
Thanks. Good
Three-
comments.
3 minutes is up.
You could keep talking if you'd like.
I'm all set.
We have
But I
discretion.
appreciate the input. So, I think I mean, you know, we can try to put some words to the regionalization. I think we're all in favor of the same thing, and I guess I wouldn't want to end the discussion, obviously, on regionalization tonight. We'll have an opportunity when we have applicants at our next meeting to talk more about what that's looking like. You know, I guess at this point, I'd like, you know, sort of full board input after we've had a chance to think about these things, to put more flesh on the bones of what we mean by regional collaboration.
I think we're showing leadership by having this discussion now and, you know, imploring Camden in particular to join us when they're ready. We've all heard that they want to, so from individual conversations, and so this is our moment to say we are ready.
Yeah.
When you are.
And it's a priority for us.
It's a priority for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I won't get 2 seconds. I think that means a lot.
Rick, I just have to, I really appreciate you attending our meetings and being here, but you're out of order. And I don't say that term in a negative way. It's just there's a protocol to these meetings. So I appreciate your participation, but we can't just have you weighing in when you feel like it.
What Sam just said.
I heard loudly.
That means a lot.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So another thought we had talked about, I know from many of the board members, is how explore ways to improve communication with the public. How to engage our town residents, listen to what the community wants. You know, we've talked about it as specific as, you know, finding out what their budget priorities are, where people want to save, where they want to spend money. But it's a broader question than that. It's really how do we better communicate with our town residents, listen, provide opportunities for them to know what is happening, what our communication with them. And I sort of, you know, if you get into that, you start, you know, we've got a newsletter, we've got a website. How do we better make those tools? But what other tools are we not using that could be very useful?
Well, I know Linda, I think it was Linda, you brought it up at the candidates night, the town halls.
Yes.
The town halls, I think that would be a great way to communicate with the residents more. Maybe not necessarily happenings, but at least if we're at the town halls, folks can give us their views, like you said, on the budget, things that are important to them for the town and for their neighborhoods. So I think we should make that a goal to really implement those.
And I like the idea of serving some food, you know, so that people
I
really
love
wanna
that.
come.
Yeah.
So, working with that and building on it, could we put a goal in there of hosting a town hall by year end?
You know, I just had a thought, John. Yes, but I think we could have the goal, and then we could have a milestone like what you're just. I don't want to limit the goal to just having the town meeting by year's end. But that doesn't mean we can't have the overarching goal, and then put in some milestones.
Right, the better communication one, town halls.
Right. Town halls, serve food, have first one by end of the year. I mean, I think there's room for all of these different ideas to get wrapped into, you know, to have both the specific, but also not limit ourselves to just that one specific item that.
No, but I'm going to beat a dead horse here, but the fact that we're holding a town hall meeting means we have to do some planning prior to that meeting.
Yep.
Out of that planning, we will arrive at, hey, what are we going to try to focus the conversation on? How are we going to format it? How are we going to promote it? All of those things become us learning about better ways to communicate and learning more about what people want from their town government.
Yep.
So it actually is communication, but it's actually putting something specific on the map that says we're going to take an actual, have a goal of an action item, something that is there at a point in time that creates some accountability. That's what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to stop.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's important. Good ideas. What else?
So our strategic plans, the purview of a select board, John, or is that, where do they fit?
Ultimately,
Specifically,
yeah.
I'm thinking about the housing, having a housing strategic plan. Is that something that should be on the select board's to-do list to somehow figure out a way to get a housing strategic plan
Yeah.
on the books?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly the place to, for it to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how about we have a goal of a housing strategic plan by June 1st, 2027? Does that work?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that would be presumably an agenda item that we would discuss about how
Oh,
we
we're
would
having
put together.
workshops, we're already well on our way.
Well, we
to-
is the planning board. I mean, I guess we've been
Well, we're
attending
doing
those.
select board, planning board, economic development committee, joint workshops right now. We're having our second one next week,
Yeah.
so. And I just spent the last 3 days writing the background paper on it, so we're well along.
You might have this ready for us before June
I,
1.
I could easily do that. I don't wanna overpromise, you know.
What day is that?
The 23rd.
23rd.
Yeah, it should have just gotten in your email box.
Okay.
So other items on my idea list.
Could I ask a question about the, is it on this or am I?
Go
I
ahead,
want to ask
John.
about the plan.
Go ahead, John.
So the plans, the other strategic plans that we've developed have come from task force, hire, someone who's an expert in the field. They provide with the feedback of the task force. Task force comes back and says, okay, yes, this is the completed plan. This is a different model, though.
No,
right?
actually,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking, but
Okay.
it's the select board, it's not the select board writing the plan.
No, okay.
Would that come
It's-
from the planning board?
It would come from the planning board or it could come from any other committee, but
Okay.
the select board is, on task to make sure the committees are
Yeah.
functioning to deliver their recommendation in the form of a strategic plan. Obviously, we may want to talk about it and,
Sure.
be involved in it, but it would not be the select board strategic plan. It would be something that would essentially grow what I would call organically through our committee structure.
And any thoughts on how the planner's role would intersect with that, or in terms of their support of this effort? I mean, a lot of this has
The
been
town planner?
right.
Oh,
right.
they'd be all over it.
That's what
They'd
I
be
was
all
hoping
over
you'd
it.
say.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I joke that I've,
Good answer. There wasn't a right one,
Staff
but it's
needs
a
to
good
be
one.
involved
no,
here.
I joke that I spent the last 3 days doing it, but I've been working with
Yeah.
Jan Rosenbaum very heavily on this. Ryan's been in the thick of
Yeah.
it. It's
Okay.
just somebody at some point has to be the person to, actually get the words on paper and
That's fine,
polish
yeah.
up the formatting and coordinate the committees. And so I've taken that on as liaison for a couple of the bodies that are involved. And so that's, I'm not trying to overplay my hand here at
Oh.
all.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure
All right, so somewhere on my wish list of goals and things I wish we could get better at as a town would be a long-range forecasting model of some kind. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily, and I don't think it is, for the select board to decide what that should be or how to structure it, but I think the select board should have it on a list of, let's make sure we can get that accomplished. I don't know how, through John and Megan to kind of say, hey, we'd like to see better long-range forecasting from a budget standpoint. Or is that something that isn't a select board goal?
let's put it on the page and then let's figure out how to backfill, how to get there.
Okay.
I think that's the easiest way. I mean, I think it would be helpful to know what markers we're looking at, what's important to this board. I mean, I think we'll have a good sense of, it's 5-year projections, 10-year projections.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is again, this gets down to communication as well, Denise, back to your goal and your point. I think it's a lot is gained by setting expectations, and giving people an opportunity to kind of understand what's down the road.
Yeah.
so that each year we're not kind of surprised, here's where the budget's landing. You know, it should be, oh, the budget's landing about where we thought it would 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever. And I'm not saying we're holding ourselves to a number or anything like that,
Right.
but getting a little bit better at where we are than we are today would be great.
And I know, just to fill that in, I mean, the capital improvement plan, we do that for capital purchases. We've
Yeah.
got the long range, and we'll see
Right.
that
Right.
this fall
Yep,
for the new members.
that's right.
You know, but every I mean, I don't know if this is normal for municipalities or not, but every business I've been involved with, we've had 5, 10-year business plans pretty consistently. It's just the way you do things.
Well, the funny thing about municipalities is we keep electing new people every year.
Well, all the more
That
reason.
does change things a
Touche,
tad.
John.
No slight, but it happens. That
No,
inertia
but
does
that's part of
change.
why towns have comprehensive plans and things like that.
Yes.
So, you know,
Yes.
any given day, you can't come in and say, okay, we're company left, you know.
It's true. It's just that the ballast of that is it does shake and move far too much. It seems. It doesn't mean that it. Are there a lot of towns that have long range forecasts? No, but doesn't mean we couldn't. I think in the period we're in right now, people want to know: are we going to forever see the type of increases that we're seeing? Again, we're guessing based upon what we know today. But I think it's worth the time to invest in it.
Well, I think-
But there are things that perhaps we're going to not focus on because we are focusing in a given area. That's but that's okay. That's I think this is the time for that. I agree.
Okay. Let's see, I want to make sure others get a chance to talk. If, do you want to?
The only thing I had was, and it may not be a select board goal, but follow up better on follow-up items. This actually came to light at the Harbor Committee. They had brought their rules to us in the past year, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was something on the harbor rules that we didn't vote on them. We needed to them to take it back. And I can't remember if it was in coordination with the Parks
It was-
Committee.
I think it was Comprehensive Plan Implementation Task Force.
There was part of that, but there was something else too, and I don't remember exactly what it was. I've got to go back and look in the select board minutes. But there was some reason we didn't vote on it, we tabled it. And it's still tabled. And it's like, oh, that's right. So I don't know if that's something that we as a board have to remember, oh, hey, where are we at on this? Or if there's another method to keep track of those sort of things so that we get it back on the table again
Yeah.
and vote on it.
There's some substantial harbor rules edits that need to come through, but there's a little bit held up
Right.
so when Abby's back, we'll be on I think a regular schedule, at least on that score.
Because that would typically have been the staff person who would try to make sure that those don't
Yes,
fall through the cracks.
and there's a lot that's going to go into that document
Okay.
this fall.
All right.
So
So that's
Rest
kind of,
assured.
that's kind of a one-off thing then?
it's a one-off.
Okay.
Yeah, although I think
I mean-
this might be worth
least
talking
that
about a
one is.
little bit, because sometimes I know when I first worked with the town and was on the ordinance review committee, and there had been something that the town had voted on like 5 years earlier,
Yes.
but it had never gotten implemented
Yes.
into the ordinance regulation, into the land use ordinance. And so that sort of notion of following up when we have our meetings, when there are warrant articles, town votes, budget committee, there's some things that sort of we all have in our heads that came out of the budget committee meetings, but whether they're really gonna be, where do those get reflected so that we just don't lose sight of them, I think is a
The best way is when there's votes, right? That's the best way, is a permanent record of what is decided, what isn't decided. And there's conversation and, I'm gonna look into this, or we're gonna do it. That's where things often get lost.
Yeah, and I guess I was wondering, I was just thinking of one specific budget committee issue with the Russell Avenue sidewalk. There was a decision made not to fund that last year because we were gonna be redoing the road this year, so it made more sense to do the sidewalk at the same time we were doing the road. But how does that get sort of in front of this year's budget committee, is it just, and, you know, somebody in the meeting says, I remember we said this?
Well,
Is that
like
a
a lot of
staff
things.
person kind of thing?
Well,
Or Megan, it's in Megan's
yeah.
notes?
It-
Perhaps we can just say, you know, when something is voted on, just say, when will we follow up on this?
Right.
Yeah.
And you put
And
it
then
right
get
in the
that
calendar.
Documented right there.
Yeah, this is right out of John's playbook.
Yeah.
Put it right in the calendar. We're gonna follow up, say it was the sidewalk. We're gonna follow up 6 months from now. 6 months from now, if we say, oh, wow, nothing's been done on
We haven't
this,
done
let's
this.
follow up in 1 month. So maybe we just need to
Mm-hmm.
be good about that when we have issues that are not immediately resolving.
Good. Okay. Anything, Linda?
Okay, my goal is John's favorite, cemeteries.
Absolutely. Number one.
For the last few years that I was clerk, I was really interested in doing a columbarium. But since I don't think that's going to move forward, I really have a passion for cleaning the cemetery stones and repairing the broken stones in all of the cemeteries. We have a legal obligation to take care of veteran stones. And if you go to some of the cemeteries and look at the stones, they're black. They need to be cleaned. And to follow up, my suggestion would be if we are able to take the money that was set aside in reserves for the columbarium, take it back to the voters and ask if we can use that money to do that project.
Is that the procedure, John, if you need to go back to the voters?
Yeah, that would work.
So we could cue that up for the November ballot?
Yeah, yeah, we could. There was, on that note, you may remember there was a conversation last fall about when the new rules were approved as well as the new fee schedule. And some conversation about wanting that to come back. So the only thing that I would,
Wanting the columbarium to come
no,
back?
I'm sorry, basically an after effects, meeting to say, how did it go? Did we sell the lots we thought we were going to? Is the price too high, too low, or the rules? Just basically to come back to it, because there was a lot of
So Liz can give us
concern.
an update.
Yeah, and so there was some sense that might be a good idea. We're selling a number of lots, even at that higher price. Remember that there was a proposed number, and then I think in the
It went up
meeting, the number
higher.
went up higher. And that number isn't making people concerned. Should we be? There were some other concerns. What should the town's role be with select board? What should the select board's role be, or the town's role be with cemeteries? And so it became a much bigger topic than what was on the agenda that night. And I guess the question would be, is that
So
something?
perhaps that could be in the same way, the
Yeah.
goal is to,
Yeah,
sorry, I just got the high sign, I needed to get closer to the mic.
yep,
So the goal could be something, related to cemeteries, but again, it could be an agenda item. We'll have Liz come talk to us about how that's gone.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what steps are necessary to be able to transfer the columbarium funds to general cleanup of the stones at the cemeteries.
right.
Things we might not have all the information for tonight, but we know that that there's a concern.
Right, yeah, exactly. So it's a concern, it's one way to, and then, provide the information, let the five of you make a decision of what's the best path forward. And then, I don't think there'd be any issue with the cleaning of the stones. I think that makes a lot of sense. Repair and so forth. Then the only question will be timing, and making sure, if we could hit November, that would be ideal. That
Maybe
allow
not,
us,
yeah.
so
And
maybe.
we have the sexton as well, assistant sexton.
Yeah,
Right,
right,
and we
the
have a-
assistant sexton and then the sexton, yeah.
And a few years ago, we did have a workshop on a hot August day at Glen Cove and had some people from the Old Cemetery Association to come and teach us how to clean stones properly and how to set them properly. And I'm sure if we contact them, they would be willing to help.
That'd be really nice.
That'd be great.
And is this something volunteers could help with? Or is it very,
I would say volunteers could help with the guidance of people who know what they're doing, with the experts. And I believe there's a gentleman from New York that you can hire to come do that as well.
okay,
Right.
okay, great. Any other goals that people want to talk about, or?
I have kind of a bit of a vague one, but
Yeah.
this would fall under the community engagement. I would like to know from the community, I have my own thoughts, being a new select board member, of how we can be more transparent.
Mhm.
And so what are kind of the mysterious things that people would like us to talk about more? And I think that's something that in some form of survey or discussions, this is a very vague goal, but I
Yeah.
think that would go a long way with along the lines of the town hall, but and it can be asked at the town hall, maybe it's on that
Right.
agenda.
Maybe we start with that.
Yeah,
but
like
I-
how can we be more transparent? What do you find mysterious that we can help?
Right, that we might just take for granted everybody knows, but it turns out they don't.
Yeah, and even in
maybe-
these 2 meetings, I'm learning a lot, and it's.
Yeah.
But there are also things that I don't understand why it has to be. Some things in executive session, it's interesting
Yeah.
what an executive session is, and why are some things in that when they might not need to be.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
that kind of general question.
Good.
So I have another thought on another goal. The wastewater end of things, while this is select board, but we're really the wastewater commissioners as well. And
Yep.
so I guess this is a goal for both.
Mhm.
But having a wastewater, we have no real plan for wastewater right now. We have, and we're having talks and making, contracting with the Camden and Rockland and, but we really don't have a wastewater plan to guide some of that conversation. So something I'd like to put some level of goal on, or language on the list of goals to have a strategic plan in place for wastewater. I don't know if it's just create a task force to create a strategic plan, or is
Well,
it?
I think the town manager, that's one of the town manager's goals, but do you
Yeah.
want to add?
Well, I would just ask John about whose job is it to do the strategic plan, and he told me that was the select board to assure that gets done, but not write the plan, but have it as a goal for. Am I not understanding?
Well, I mean, no, I mean, that's partly why I asked the question about the housing plan, right? It was
Right.
somewhat of a who's involved, how are we accomplishing that goal? Yeah, I mean, I think that there is.
So where should a strategic plan for wastewater, who should own that goal?
I think that should be a task force that's created, and that
So the
there's.
select board's part of the goal is to create the
Yeah,
task force?
I think so. I think you have a task force that you could repurpose, but yes, I think that's right. Because I think you want community feedback to help you, drive the importance and the priorities of that rather than staff necessarily. Staff should be really looking at administratively, how does it work and how can it succeed?
But in terms of, particularly when it comes to treatment or
Mhm.
expansion of our system.
Right.
We want community engagement.
Absolutely, right, and of course, I'm sure you already thought this, but that obviously goes hand in hand with the housing. And, those two,
And regionalization.
yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
Well,
Okay,
I'm
so-
not suggesting that we have a plan by year end, by fiscal year end, but I'm suggesting that we have a goal of creating a group to create the plan.
Yeah, I think that's that sort of, sort of threads the needle on that.
Even though it would be nice to have that wastewater plan before we have the housing plan.
Right,
But,
exactly.
it's a little bit of a chicken egg
It
thing.
is,
So,
well,
the
yeah.
housing plan may actually be a big factor in what we do with the wastewater plan,
Right.
But the wastewater plan needs to be in sync with the housing
It
plan.
does.
And we need a wastewater plan that can evolve too, I mean, in terms of additional housing and new
Yeah.
areas. Okay, and would that be something that you might come back to us with in terms of the task force, how you would structure that task force? You
Yes.
Recommend that?
But I think if we're looking at arming or staffing, well, not staff, but actually appointing membership in the second half of the year, I think that would make,
That would make
more
sense.
sense,
Because
yeah.
we would have some other things that are in the works now.
right.
If we got the Rockland,
It's the staging of it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the problem right now, is there's a lot of blocks that have to fall into place first. But,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see where you're going, and it makes 100% sense.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else? So what I might do, but working with others, is come up with a list of these so that we can make sure we're all talking about what we think we're talking about. And that gives us a chance to sort of fine tune that a little more, but also start to think about spacing those out over this year so that we get going. I mean, I think it's some really good ideas and things that are exciting to work on. So thank you, everybody, for your thoughts and input, and on a follow-up, I'll come back with, just something for everybody to look at. And if you have additional thoughts after tonight that you want to sort of share, that's fine too. Moving along, we have the Select Board Liaison Reports. Let's see, I think it's going to be just John, Kim, and I.
Yeah, I'm happy to start.
Okay, great.
We finally had a Harbor Committee meeting. It's been a few months. Started off with a discussion of the comp plan items. We had a long list months ago when the implementation committee visited. And then I guess Sam had said that you and Jan maybe had shortened up the list a little bit for the comp plan items. So there was discussion on each of those. For like MR1, follow the Master Harbor Plan. Other items will be handled with regular monthly meetings. I mean, a lot of it was very easy to start working with on the Harbor Committee. So I know they're working on getting that report together so they can come back to you and state where they are in each of the items. And then we also had the Deputy Harbor Master, Rob, and I'm blanking on his last name. Rob Parent. He was there at the meeting. He filled us in on what's been going on while Abby's been out. He did let us know that there were more dinghy spots available for tie-offs than originally thought, so
Oh, wow.
that's a bonus. So anyone interested, go talk to Rob. Back to the harbor rules, that came up in discussion too. They think we're still working on the 2023 version, so like you said, got to go
Does that
back.
include fees too, or?
No,
No, we get
no,
it.
the fees were separate.
Good, okay.
Yeah. fees
So,
went up,
he did say that collections are doing great this year. They've actually doubled from last year because the fees were finally implemented into the credit card system. So things are coming in at the new harbor fees rather than the previous year. So that's been a big help. Rockport Marine is stopping float storage, and they're offering that business to Dallas. So that will be interesting how that's going to all work. And Rockport Marine is also toying with fuel availability. They may not be offering it to the public as much or in the same quantities as they were, because their tank just can't handle the increased traffic. They can't keep up. It's, you know, a fairly small tank, and the demands are more and more every year. In Rob's report, he said Donut Fest was successful. We'll need more trash care next year just because it was constant, you know, just a lot of people, a lot of trash. I mean, they did a great job with it, but it's just a never-ending trash cleanup. I even saw Ryan doing trash duty. He said the vendors are great. They've all cleaned up really well, but there's still a lot of work. There's wrappers and little things that get left behind. So he said it did take an extra day or two just to get everything back to tip-top shape, the way that he wanted to see the park. Just gave an update. The commercial float. I keep saying I'm going to type these up so I can read what I wrote because it's not fresh in my mind. One is E-deck is in bad shape. The fasteners are breaking, so they're keeping it fixed to keep it safe. Also they've implemented the QR code with a sign with the merchant fee added. So folks coming down there, they say, oh, whoops, I don't have cash. No excuse. They've got a QR code, so they can pay their harbor fees. They are staffing 8 to 4 every day. The harbor master Monday through Friday, Reed Tuesday through Saturday, Jared Monday through Thursday, and Sunday is Jody. And they're also following the town office holiday schedule, so they're not open on the same holidays as the town office. He talked about some proposed changes for next year on winter storage, to get the payment up front, show up, sign a contract, and pay at that point in time. It also suggested that possibly changing the mooring due date from May 1st to either March or April. That will give them a better idea of what the availability is for folks on the wait list, and also to let them know who's subletting, and trying to move to more electronic processing on that as well. And said all the electrical's working, got a workout over the Donut Festival, and the pump out station's working great too. So, but it was good. It was a quick, fast, information-filled meeting, but it was, Rob's done a great job in Abby's absence, and so more to come.
Things seem great down there.
Yeah.
John?
First up is the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Task Force, and the vast majority of the comp plan goals tracking sheets have been distributed to the various committees. There still remains a few what I'd call orphans that need a home. 3 of the orphans seem to best fit with the Parks and Beautification Committee, but the task force would like the select board to weigh in on that, since it means expanding the scope of the work of the Parks and Beautification Committee to embrace more than just aesthetics or landscaping. So just, we've got, you know, a handful of goals that don't have a home because we don't have a committee to own them. So there are a few others that relate to Rockport's history that were thought to fit with Legacy Rockport initially, but upon further review, they fell outside the scope of that committee, or that, mostly because Legacy Rockport is not a town committee, I think was the primary issue. So, although we have a liaison to Legacy Rockport, don't we?
But they're actually a voting member. on the board of Lakes.
Oh, they are, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we thought the Historical Society would be a logical player to pick those up, even though they're not part of the town, but they didn't want to assume responsibility. So the short of it is, unless we can find home for some of these, we may end up with a few well-intended goals from the comp plan that have no owner. So another issue with goals is that some of them require multiple committees to implement, no surprise. And in those instances, the task force assign the goal to a primary committee, and then in the next few weeks, in fact, they probably are, I think we're already doing it, Bob, we've been notifying the other impacted committees of their shared responsibilities. So we're kind of leaving it for the primary committees to meet with the other associated committees and figure out who's doing what, who's on first, who's on second, that kind of thing. By way of reminder, the task force intends to provide a progress report on the goals in the comp plan to the select board. I'm assuming the November select board meeting's about the right timing on that, which would be in concert with the submission of annual work plans from all the committees. So that way, if any of the goals require additional funding as well, we can have that information before we begin our budget cycle. So next meeting of that task force is July 27th, which is coming right up at 9:30 a.m. That's it on the comprehensive plan implementation task force, Bob. Anything to add? No, good, okay. Next committee is the planning board, which met on the 25th of June. We had as you heard earlier, 24 workforce housing unit rental units on 3 Cross Street. This really involves 2 12-unit buildings situated on about a 3.5-acre lot directly behind what's currently the Anchor Church. To give everybody in main directional terms, it's no longer the Anchor Church, or not about to be, but we'll probably still say it's right there behind the Anchor
Farmer's
Church on Route 90. So there were a number of Cross Street residents that were at the meeting that expressed concerns about their concerns about some level of impact on traffic coming down Cross Street, even though it seems likely that the more likely exit and egress point will be, frankly, a few hundred feet down to hop on Route 90. So, plus the forecasted increase in vehicle traffic didn't really come anywhere close to requiring a traffic study or anything like that. So it was approved, but as we heard from Linda earlier, during the public, there was a good discussion on how best to incorporate the vision expressed in what we call the complete streets, smart growth. There's all sorts of other buzzwords for it. But that kind of planning as a way to ensure safe pedestrian and bike traffic on Route 90, particularly as it comes up from the village and soon the park and also the adjacent neighborhoods, like all the way up Cross Street. So generally, there seems to be a need to better coordinate our housing and economic growth with our efforts to promote alternative modes of transportation and safe passage generally for pedestrians. So something like this issue seems to fit nicely, I think, under the auspices of the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Task Force, since it would involve coordinating multiple committees of the town. So I'm going to assume, since Linda was also suggesting that will probably kind of naturally gravitate towards Bob and the group that's working there, maybe become a sub-task force of the task force. I don't know how we'll work with it. But the interesting thing is that it's a grassroots group that is emerging to want to be involved in the planning, and they seem to be ready to work with everybody else, and everybody's in favor of adding more housing units in town, so there's no disagreement on that. But there may be an opportunity for that intersection at Route 90 and Cross Street. So there also, were on the planning board, there was a subdivision application at 6 Madeline Lane. It's called Ledgewood Commons, which really was just a relatively minor splitting off of some back acreage on the lot. The other lot that's involved there has the old office, well, it's going to remain an office building. And then the one on the right, if you're looking from Route 1, is well on its way to being converted into rental units. But since the only reason this was before the planning board is because that lot, to get those rental units approved, had to be subdivided, and we're subdividing it again within 5 years, so it triggers a site application in the planning board world. Just a quick reminder, we've got the next joint planning board, select board economic development committee housing workshop set for July 23rd from 3 to 5 right here in the Parker Room. The goal in this workshop is to take what we heard from the speakers in our first workshop and begin to map out recommendations and an action plan to create more housing here in Rockport. So it's going to be heavily focused on, okay, now what can we do, specifically at all levels in the town to really remove as many obstacles to housing development of all kinds that we can. So I think that's a goal that everybody's in favor of. Budget committee is another liaison role for me. Sadly, since the end of the last budget cycle in March, the budget committee has not had any meetings or any attempt to establish new leadership, as far as I've heard. Have you heard any different, John?
No.
Hopefully we'll see some movement on that soon in order to avoid, I really want to avoid what I think is unhelpful pressure that comes when all those budget committee meetings tend to bunch up right before the critical stage of our budget process. And if they've got things that they want to change or format issues they want to see changed, we need to have their input as a committee soon in order to really do that, and so it's not disruptive to everything else. So I know they wanted changes on formatting. I know there was some talk about key performance indexes, long-range forecasting, of course, and then they were very keen on regionalization savings. So, but without any further direction from the budget committee, it's going to be hard if we don't see something soon to do anything.
Although I think we have been trying to implement what we know to be.
Yeah, we've been on our own doing it, but
Yeah.
It really, we all were in the meetings where they were wanting to see changes, but when they can't agree to meet and get together as a group, then that just makes it hard. So.
Okay. All right, Parks Committee, let's see.
Looks like Rick
MID.
wants to say
I'm
something.
on the budget committee.
Yeah.
And I asked Liz the other day, and she said it was coming from Megan, that we were going to have a meeting. And they were putting it together at the town office.
That's good. I wasn't aware of that, Rick, so thanks. But you appreciate my concern that.
I very much so. I was asking the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think losing Clay was
Yeah.
part of what happened there.
Yeah.
And Liz said that Megan's on vacation and that she may have been spearheading it. I don't know.
We'll find out more, yeah.
Yeah.
She's back this week, so we'll
But
get
I
it figured out.
can imagine. there's a
So
little bit
what do
after.
I take back to anybody that asked me so I can do that?
I think it's gotta come from Liz and Megan to figure out when
So-
they set the dates.
So it doesn't actually come from somebody that isn't there anymore, like Eric,
Well,
like,
usually it's a
Clay.
big help. It's a big help when Clay's there, cause it's, he's, as the returning chair, somewhat that's a big help, to not have that, as you were saying.
yeah,
I think
Well, and we'll have a meeting in the fall for sure with the capital improvement plan, because that's.
worst
that's
case
really-
scenario,
yeah.
right? Worst
I
case
don't think they
scenario.
wanna wait until fall. I think like,
Yeah.
John's saying, they wanna get together now, so.
So I think it will come out from Megan and or Liz, because Liz is the one that has to open the meeting because they're elected, so just as this board did. So there's a little bit of a collaboration between the two of them, and it's
Okay.
Megan's the staff liaison for that committee, so.
Okay,
This was our first day back of the new year, so we're.
Might be a few,
Yeah, happy
few
new
tasks
year,
still to
and
do.
now it's time to, figure out when they're meeting, so.
okay.
Great.
Good. Well, thanks for
Thanks.
chiming in on that, Rick, because I'm glad you're seeing the issue that I'm seeing.
Okay, so, Parks Committee's gonna have their next meeting's gonna be a work session, do some cleanup around Memorial Park, Mary Leah Park, and I think it'll depend on the heat of the day as to where they decide to do that work session. MIDC, which is the fiber project, I think John described that in his report. It's a little bit backed up because of the make-ready requirements for the utility poles, but it's still coming to Rockport, at least initially in the village area, and then we're hoping that we'll have enough money from the fees to expand that out. And Economic Development Committee will be part of the housing project. They're also working on some collaboration and work with businesses in Rockport, and working with the Rue Institute. There's some possibility Camden's going to join with us on that. So good stuff happening.
Just one more note on the housing workshop. The background paper for the workshop and the agenda just went out, so should be on the town website within the next couple of days. Is Diane on vacation, John?
She's out today and tomorrow.
All right, so
Yep.
as soon as somebody's back, then they can get it posted. But it's a public workshop, so anybody can attend.
Great. Thanks for doing all that work on that.
Yep.
The attachment's the same? One's PDF, one's Word?
Yes, they're
Okay.
just in case you can't open one.
Gotcha.
I find that I have to kind of,
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah,
You never
for the
know
Mac
what's going to
users
choose
of
to
the
work.
Yes, it's appreciated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, anything else
Perfect.
before we have a motion to adjourn? Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
That is the fastest motion we choose. All those in favor? 5-0.
What, no
Great.
discussion?
Shouldn't be. All right.
Ah.